Good morning. Um, I wanted to put this out some time ago, but I just been real busy and I haven't been able to put it out. But November 8th is right around the corner, and I try to be as informative as possible. And I think that is the responsibility of the church to address issues as it relates to community. And this is going to impact our community in ways that we don't really understand or know. Um, the information that I have is concerning the candidate for the Republican candidate for President of the United States, which is Donald J. Trump. There are many of you that are considering to vote for him during this election. Some of you have already voted early, and he made the statement that you can change your vote from Hillary to him. And his whole allegations against Hillary is that um, concerning her emails and her email scandal. Um, right now, we don't really know what was in those emails, and according to um, uh, FBI Comer, Director Comer, there were 650,000 emails. Well, one person, and no matter if she's Secretary of State or not, cannot write or possibly write 650,000 emails. I get emails all the time from people that I desire to get it from and people that I don't desire to get it from. And Hillary should not be convicted of a crime based on someone else sending her information, whether it be classified or not. Even though she set up the private server, that you know, that's questionable as to whether it's a felony or a misdemeanor and under the law. But I believe that we must take a real close look at our other candidate, which is Donald J. Trump. And it's important that you get this information because them that are about to vote for him know who you're voting for. Well, there is a existing court case that is going to be heard by the New York Circuit Judge. And just so you know, um, this court case is concerning a rape suit against Donald J. Trump. And due to the fact that the young lady is a minor, her name has been stricken from the record, which is usual. And so it is important that you know this. This case was filed October 4th, 2016. So it's recently. This case was filed October 4th, 2016 in the United States District Court, Southern District of New York, of a person by the name of Jane Doe, which is considered the plaintiff, and Donald J. Trump and Jeffrey E. Epstein. I've tried everything to get this out into the media, but it seems like the media is biased towards Mr. Trump. Um, the order of notice and initial conference, and the judge is Judge Ronnie Abrams. So let me give you a little gist of the allegations so you can know exactly what is being said about Mr. Trump. Well, it says basically this: I, Jane Doe, the plaintiff in this matter proceedings under pseudonym state as follows. I'm a competent adult over 18 years of age, able to testify as to the personal knowledge. The facts in this declaration are true and correct to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief. I am competent to testify to them if called upon to do so. I was I was subject to extreme sexual and physical abuse by the defendants, including forcible rape that took place at several parties of the defendant Epstein during the summer of 1994 in New York City at the residence used by defendant Epstein. During this period, I was 13 years old. More particularly, I traveled by bus to New York City in June of 1994 in hope of starting a modeling career. I went to several modeling agencies, but was told that I need to put together a modeling portfolio before I would be considered. I then went to the port authorities in New York City to start to make my way back home. There I met a woman who introduced herself to me as Tiffany. She told me about about parties and said that if I joined her at the parties, I would be introduced to people who could get me into a modeling profession. Tiffany also told me I would be paid for attending. The parties were held in New York City. The parties were held in New York City that was being used by the defendant Jeffrey Epstein. Each of the parties had minor females and a number of guests of Mr. Epstein, including defendant Donald Trump, at the four parties I attended. I understood that both Mr. Trump and Mr. Epstein knew that I was 13 years old. Now listen to this, y'all, really careful. Defendant Donald Trump had sexual contact with me at four different parties in the summer of 1994. On the fourth and final sexual encounter with the defendant Trump tied me to a bed, exposed himself to me, and proceeded to forcefully rape me. During the course of the savage sexual attack, I loudly pleaded with defendant Trump to stop, but he did not. Defendant Trump responded to my pleas by violently striking me in the face with an open hand and screaming that he would do whatever he wanted. Sounds familiar, don't it? Immediately following this rape, Donald Trump threatened me that were I ever to reveal any of the details of the defendant Trump's sexual and physical abuse of me, my family, and I would be physically harmed, if not killed. Defendant Epstein had sexual contact with me at two of the parties that summer. On the second occasion involving defendant Epstein forced himself upon me and proceeded to rape me anally and vaginally, despite my loud pleas to stop. Defendant Epstein then attempted to strike me about the head with closed fists, while angrily screamed at me that he, defendant Epstein, should have been the one who took my virginity, not Donald Trump, before finally to manage to break away from defendant Epstein. Immediately following the rape, just like Donald Trump, defendant Epstein threatened me not to ever reveal any of the details of defendant Epstein's sexual and physical abuse of me, or else my family and I would be physically harmed, if not killed. Both defendants had let me know that each was very wealthy, powerful men, and indicated that they had the power and ability and means to carry out the threats. Indeed, defendant Trump stated that I should never ever say anything if I didn't want to disappear like Maria, a 12-year-old female that was forced and to be involved in the third incident with defendant Trump, and that I had not since the third incident, and that he was capable of having my whole family killed. The duress imposed on me by defendants not to ever reveal any of the details of sexual and physical abuse caused me by defendants has not terminated, and fear it is instilled in me has not subsided. Unfortunately, making matters worse for me, I'm subjected to daily painful reminders of the horrific acts of defendant Trump via mass media coverage of him starting last summer that over a short period of time became continuously and unavoidable. The duress had prevented me from starting litigations before this year. However, as soon as I surfaced, I received threats. More specifically, shortly after my complaint was filed in California on April 26, 2016, I started receiving threatening phone calls on a cell phone that I own. The calls were never for more than 20 seconds and so before it hung up, and they were always from a blocked or unavailable phone number, according to my caller ID feature. Since I charged my phone numbers, since I changed my phone numbers, the threatening calls have completely stopped. This litigation involves a matter that were highly sensitive and personal nature, and I believe that identification of me would pose a risk, retaliatory physical harm to me and others. I have no reason to believe that the defendant threats have ever been lifted or will ever be lifted. So I request the court to issue a protection, protecting me and my family and the harm of harassment by the defendant. I declare under perjury or penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct. Now listen, people, that is the statement that she made in this declaration is true. There was a restraining order placed against Mr. Trump that's still inactive right now. And I've read it from the original court documents. I went to the original court documents, which is public record, and I pulled up everything on Donald J. Trump. And so the question remains now, I can go on and read you more of the petition, which anyone that would like to have a copy of it, I will forward it to you. And I have no problem with doing so. But I want you to know that this is the man that you're talking about electing if you're a supporter to the president of the United States. There was a witness concerning uh, uh, these allegations by the name of the lady named Tiffany or Tiffany Doe. And she also stated some of the same things. And I can read you those statements by the witness. And it says here, I am a competent adult over 18 years of age to testify to the personal knowledge. The facts in this declaration is true and correct to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief, and I'm competent to testify to them if called upon to do so. I originally met Jeffrey E. Epstein in New York City in 1990 when I was at age 22. I attended a series of parties in the same year in 1990 where I was paid to entertain various guests of Mr. Epstein. In the year 1991, I promoted to the occupation of party planners, in which my duties were to get attractive adolescent women to attend these parties. Now you hear this, attractive adolescent women. I was hired and paid directly by Mr. Epstein for years of 1991 to 2000 to attract adolescent women to attend these parties, most of which were held at the known Wexner Mansion located at 9 East 71st Street, New York City. In June 1994, while performing my duties as a recruiter of adolescent women to attend Mr. Epstein's party, I met 13-year-old adolescent woman, the plaintiff in this matter, at the Port Authority in New York City, who said that she had come to New York City in hope of starting a modeling career. I persuaded the plaintiff to attend a series of parties with Mr. Epstein that took place during the summer of 1994. I told her that if she joined me at the party, she would introduce the people who could get her into the modeling profession, and she would be paid for attending. It was that these series of parties that I personally witnessed the plaintiff being forced to perform various sexual acts with Donald J. Trump and Mr. Epstein. Both Mr. Trump and Mr. Epstein were advised that she was 13 years old. Now, I'm going to stop there because I don't have a lot of time this morning. But here, listen to this, y'all. This is the man, and like I said, anyone would like a copy of this petition in its entirety, I'll be more than happy to send it to you. If you know of anybody in your state that are about to vote for Donald J. Trump, it would behoove you to really read this stuff and not just dismiss it like you've been dismissing a lot of the allegations of him being sexually abusive to women. And this is more than just sexual abuse. This is rape. And this is rape, and basically this is a criminal act, and the thing is that it's important that we look at this candidate that we're about to elect to the presidency of the United States of America, because he's going to have access to children. Do you really want your daughters to be around a man, and he's a known felon? Basically, he's a known felon. He's committed these sexual acts on these women, and not only Tiffany had nothing to gain or to lose by exposing Mr. Trump. And everybody can say all day long that, hey, this is just a conspiracy to try to get Mr. Trump to not to be president of the United States. But look, y'all need to start being informed listeners and informed people, and start doing research on the person of your choice before you go out there and make your vote. I know there's some issues with Hillary, and I have those issues too, but Hillary have not committed this kind of felony and threatened violence and all kinds of things to this young lady. And I believe it behooves you, like I say, if you really want to know truth, the Bible says you should know the truth. When you hear it, the truth shall make you free. And if you really want to know truth, then you're going to want to get a copy of this petition. You're going to want to get a copy of this petition because it is filed. I have verified it. I have verified it from the actual source. And it is filed. It is in New York City, and the judge is legitimate, and Donald Trump is a liar. And think about it. With this young lady, remember we always taught young ladies, if you've been abused by anyone, don't be afraid to tell it. And so I'm telling you right now that Mr. Trump is been abusive. He's been flagrantly abusive to women. And if your women out there have already issued your vote for him, and you able to change your vote in that state, you need to do so, because you are condoning and enabling an abuser and a pedophile that has been filed in court. And I can assure you this ain't going to go away like Mr. Trump have tried to make those 11 women go away. This case is going to stick, and he's going to be tried for a crime. And because I don't know what the statute of limitation is in the state of New York, but I thought there was no statute of limitation when it calls for an abuse of a minor. I thought that was a federal law, but I have to check more into it to find out if indeed that is the case. But like I say, I implore you all to really be informed about who you're going to vote for before you vote for them. Because Mr. Trump is not the candidate you want to be voting for, especially if you want your kids around this man. And it's important, like I say, if you need a copy of the petition, I see some people just logged in. If you need a copy of this petition in its entirety, know that I have a copy of it. This is from these sources, not from me. It's not something that I created or made up. It's from the source and from court records. This case is going to be tried and listened to in December 12th, but apparently, of course, after the election. But we don't want to wait till the election to listen to this case. We want this case to come out now, because this needs to be heard by the American public. And you as a citizen and a voter, you have a right to know about the candidate that you're about to vote on. And like I say, somebody gonna be stupid to get on here and talk about Hillary's emails. This is far worse than an email. This is talking about sexually abuse of a minor. Sexual abuse of a minor. And when most states, I think in most states, that is a criminal act. And I think it pretty much in all 50 states. At least they haven't changed the law in my state. So I'm telling you all, if you want a copy of this petition in its entirety, then I'll be more than happy to forward it to you by email. Just leave me your email address in my box link, or you can comment on this video and leave the email address there. But I'm telling you that this is breaking news, and you as an American voter need to know this. God bless you, and good day.